So for step 19, attaching the dampers, well, if we were using the stock dampers, we would be using these MB2 screws. And there's 2 for each one on the rear, and on the back there's 2 of each for the front. But of course, we are replacing the stock dampers with the TRF damper set, which means that instead of those items, we need these items. And the only reason that's showing for MB3 is if you were using the short wheelbase, there's a B16 piece which basically pushes it out further, so you'd need the longer MB3. But we don't need to worry about that. We're only using the ball connectors. Now, I did go ahead and put one of them on because I wanted to make sure that it actually goes on correctly, and it does. So we're going to go ahead and do all of the other 3. So I'll set this up and we'll put the dampers onto the chassis. So let's do this one right here. And you can see that instead of the step screws, we're going to be using our ball connectors. Now, I'll show you here on this one, we're going straight into basically the inner hole. And I'm just gonna use this to line it up as best I can. Actually, looks like I've got that going in correctly, so I'm just going to screw this in. And we're just going to go all the way. And don't over tighten, but this is going into hard plastic, so when you get to the end, you're going to know that you're at the end. So now we need to do the one at the bottom. So same idea again. I'm going to use that, put that into there. And we've got to get this into this hole down here. Now, there is one difference. These arms, remember, are from the soft plastic tree. I've actually lined that up again pretty even, so I don't need to worry about this. I'm just going to basically screw it all the way in. So again, this is going into soft plastic, so you don't want to over tighten. Once it's at the end, you're going to want to stop, otherwise you can strip out the hole. So I'm just going to take a look here. You can see we've got a little bit of room there, so we can screw this in a bit more. But that's pretty much it. So I'm not going to over tighten this. Yeah, it feels right. So I'm just going to stop right there. And now we need to put it on. So let's take one of our dampers. I'm going to actually put it on from the bottom here. That's got to fit right there, but I'll just turn that a second while I grab the pliers. Snap it onto place. There we go. Turn it over. And we'll push that down just a bit. And snap that into place. So there we go. There is our 2 rear dampers in place. This feels actually really, really good. It's super, super smooth. It's super, super stiff, which was what we wanted, because we want to have very little body roll with this one. So that's what how I've set this up. But we can do the fine tuning right here. If we turn this, we can tighten the springs up if we find that we need more. But very, very cool. So now we can move on to doing the front. And the same thing again, we're going to need to put in these ball connectors. You can see that one's going to go down there, and on the top it's the inside again. So let's line this up. Looks not quite right, so I'll line that up again. That now looks correct. So we're going to turn this all the way. And again, because it's hard plastic, as soon as you get to the end, it's going to be correct. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just because we've got this already set up here. Let's do that. Make sure that's lined up. It does look correct. So we can screw this one all the way in. And again, hard plastic, so I know it's in okay, because as soon as you get to the end, it's just going to stop. So on this side, we're going to do the same thing here. Put that into here. And now we're going to attach that to here. Now what I want to make sure of this time around is make sure that that's lined up correctly. Looks like it is. Just gonna check again. Yep. So we can screw this all the way in. And again, this is now the soft plastic, so I am not over tightening it. I'm just trying to get it to the end, make sure that it's a good fit, and tightening it just enough, otherwise you could strip it out. So that's fine, that's exactly where it should be. So I'm not going to do it any more than that. So same again on, let's turn it this way, on this side. Checking, actually that one's gone on nice and even, so that's actually correct. So this one's gone in pretty level, so I'm just gonna tighten this up. Okay, so I am at the end. So I'm just gonna give this another little turn, but you see, I can tell, like if I basically screw it out, you can see that there's a little bit of a gap. I'm gonna go in a little further. I can tell that it's grabbing right now, but if I can keep turning it, and you don't want that. Just tighten it up enough that it's all the way in, which it is. So same again, we're gonna attach this. So I think, just so you can see what I'm doing here, we know that's got to go on that way. So I'm gonna turn it so that it's, let's say this way, so I can grab the ball on one end. Come on. Squeeze, there we go, there's one on. Turn this around. And we can squeeze that one on that way. And there we go, there's one of our front dampers in place. Very, very cool. So same thing on the other side. Let's put that one on. We're going to take that. Actually, I'll hold it up this way. Show you what I'm doing from down here. Snap that into place. And now same thing on the front here. In fact, I'll do it this way. And there we go. So there are both of our front dampers in place. Very, very cool. So there is our chassis up to this point with our dampers on. Very, very cool. So that means that step 19 is complete. So we can move on to step 20 now and start working on the steering arms.